with the whole Electro joining the MCU, the Spider-Verse, more or less a live-action version confirmed, everything connecting between like Spider-Man, Morbius now, Venom, whatever has, in store for the future. And then we go back to that old story we covered earlier in the year where Evan Peters was cast for WandaVision. We were all like, well, he could be Quicksilver, but probably not. I mean, he's probably Quicksilver, right? Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I mean, I'm gonna go back to what I said back then. I think the contract stipulated something had to happen, and there's like, this is how we're gonna work some of these contracts that were locked into a certain thing. Because I'm assuming some of these payouts or holds on contracts that they signed were so in favor of some of these actors that if they didn't use them, it would just it would like wreck whatever ideas they have. So there's like,
Would Evan Peters have something like that?
I mean, he's
Like,
been tied in with like Fox and what they were doing with American Horror Story since season one. They bent over backwards to get him back for some
true,
seasons. So
true.
I could see him specifically being that because they really loved working with him. Like every time you looked at it, like he was their Tom Holland for Fox. That's what essentially they were doing with
Yeah,
him. So
that's fair enough.
yeah.
So, is he gonna be Peter or is he gonna be Pietro? Do we just go like, right? He's not the Fox Quicksilver. We're gonna make him look a bit more like Aaron Taylor Johnson did. Call him Pietro. You have your wink and a nod to the Fox movies that people liked and the Quicksilver people liked, but he's not that Quicksilver. And you do it that because they don't want the Fox stuff. They hate that.
Yeah.
They despise that with everything they got. But if we can make just this one little bit work, like he hasn't got to have a big role, for all we know, she's pulling Pietro's out of different realities and just killing them all up because it's not hers.
Right.
Something like that, I don't know. But or maybe he sticks around and he is the new Pietro going forward.
I mean, that could happen. Like, and that's the thing that's kind of like the big question mark here. And when I really start thinking about it, I'm looking at this whole multiverse idea. And the moment you kind of think about it, you're like, okay, so if you're going to connect anything X-Men, maybe this is your way to do it as the speedster, right? And it is Quicksilver, and people have wanted that character back. And maybe we end up with some sort of amalgam. And I would be okay with that because, again, we're dealing with the multiverse, and who knows? For all we know, we could find out that in Wanda's head, maybe she lived an entire lifetime in that universe, and that was her Quicksilver. She's like, oh. Like, I mean, we don't know how
Yeah.
far the story's going to go. So there is a story explanation you could give it that does actually make sense, which I think
But
could work.
the question is, right? It's obviously all hypothetical. Hypothetically, he is Pietro.
Yeah.
Right. Do they make him a mutant, or do they keep him a mutant and they make Wonder one? Because I'd
Oof.
rather not have Wonder be a mutant because it wouldn't make sense in
Yeah.
what we've got.
Uh,
I know people want the Magneto relationship, but that's not gonna.
Honestly, I'd be cool if they kept him a mutant. Whatever.
Say in this multiverse they were mutants and not miracles or experiments.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude,
And then,
I suppose they've got Bova in that trailer for crying out loud. They can reference every single
yeah,
origin they've had and say it's all multiverse stuff. I'd be fine, I suppose. Do it that way.
yeah,
Why not?
that is the situation you go with. Like, you're running into so many things now, and if we look at the future, because we have Multiverse of Madness, we have WandaVision, we have Loki, we're gonna have Kang the Conqueror, again messing with time and things, and over on the Fox side of things, they've been messing with god damn, they've been messing with time since the first X-Men movie because nothing makes sense past that one with
Maybe
continuity.
that's the catalyst that she pulls a piece out of the Fox universe, and because that continuity is so all over the place, it just like repercussions just crumble throughout everything
I
else.
mean, that that would honestly be a like funny way to reference it, but then when Deadpool shows up, like, and it's Ryan Reynolds, we're like, all right, that kind of makes sense. And if you really start thinking about it, once you add the whole combo of the Spider-Verse into everything, I mean, you're really not holding anything back. Like, it's all cracked open.
Literally everything's open right now.
Yeah.
Everything's open. It doesn't matter.
They they're in a good position now to really tackle that multiverse in so many ways. And what I want to know is if they're going to go that far into it, right? I mean, it's a given. We're getting all the live-action Spider-Man on screen together. We're going to get...
Oh, yeah.
We're probably down the road, we're getting a few X-Men as well. I would not be surprised if... Honestly, I'm not going to be surprised at all if we hear that Hugh Jackman's going to reprise Wolverine one more time. I'm just...
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised. But like, they're actually like in... Like, they're not the actual X-Men, the Fox ones. They're, you know, the ones that wear the suit. And actually
yeah.
X-Men.
Exactly. They're actual X-Men.
But if that's the case, and since like Marvel's obviously got a couple of stuff they can go back and, you know, make canon and whatnot, but for a lot of those are old.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't like, you could get a new Captain America from the '90s in where he has that plastic shield and visor. Like but obviously not with that actor because that dude's gonna be like 80.
No, no motorbike. No.
I mean, they referenced it in Winter Soldier where he steals a car.
Yeah.
I think Cap in every single movie so far has stolen a car. So.
I mean, do they reference the so terribly low budget Doctor Strange movie that looked like a porn parody from like the 70s?
Yes. We get we get the Corman's Fantastic Four in there.
Still the best live action Fantastic Four. Can't discount it.
Unfortunately, yeah. But what I'd like, because they haven't got a ton of that stuff, you know, you've already referenced like Lou Ferrigno, like the old Thor, maybe a bit too old. Like, why don't they just get everyone that were on the casting shortlists back for that role? So we can have a universe where Tom Cruise is Iron Man, Krasinski's Cap, and Charlie Hunnam's Thor.
Honestly, I think they probably will.
And you get like, was it Emily Blunt back for Black Widow? Because then you're not taking the possibility of having like Krasinski and Blunt as like Mr. Fantastic and Sue away from the core timeline, but you're just referencing stuff from before. So hey, yeah, you know, like, here's a universe where Tom Hiddleston was Thor, and you play that.
I think they will do something like that. Honestly, like I do fully believe some crazy thing like that will happen. That's gonna like just be like, wait, what? Like,
because you've heard that there's gonna be versions of characters we haven't seen before in Doctor Strange.
Yep. Or
versions of characters we know that aren't like. And we all know it's going to be Iron Man. Like, they're not going to have Iron Man.
Yep.
You know, he might be dead, but he's still kicking around somewhere.
Oh yeah. Right. No, you don't do away without. Come on, like that wouldn't make sense. So that is a thing that I think they could introduce in this. And again, if they follow that route, right? The best part is like again, they can acknowledge all this exists and just be like, oh yeah, what of it? Is this not acceptable? Like they can just play with it, right? Like it's
the multiverse, like why care?
Yeah.
Like literally anything can happen in this thing.
Yep. And it's kind of a cool way to think about it now, since everything is going to go in that direction of a more multiverse future. So I think we're all pretty much excited, I would say. I mean, this news with Spider-Man and then connecting all the dots does make sense. They're looking to really shake up everything. So.
And it shows you that this multiverse stuff isn't just limited to 3 things they've announced.
Yeah.
Because we knew before as WandaVision and Loki, that's going to tie into Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. But no, whatever Wanda does in that show is just blowing the door wide open. And poor Stephen Strange.
I mean, Kevin Feige did say the Marvel shows would end up being the most important pieces as well. So
yeah, it's true.
She basically does House of M for the MCU.
Yeah,
I mean, it's referenced in the trailer. The wine bottles, like House of M something. I can't remember what it says, but it's essentially House of M.
It's like House of Contempt, I believe, or something like that.
It might be. I just remember the second word or the last word starts with the M. It's literally House of something.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly.
Can we though? Can everything come down to end on WandaVision with her sitting with Pietro at the old Friends Cafe, like Dark Phoenix? Oh. Can that happen? No. All right. Good.
For some reason, you mentioned that old cafe earlier. on the other podcast, but my brain just then went straight to the show Friends Cafe, and I was like, "Why Central Perk? Like, what was that doing anything?"
I wonder if like Wanda could be one of the factors to inadvertently start off mutants.
A lot of people have thought that. I mean, she very well possibly could,
Yeah.
but it's how I don't know, but.
And I'm just thinking because I'm trying to remember the House of M because there's a lot of stuff that happened to that, and including like some bad stuff that happened to Peter. He was he was praised as being a celebrity mutant, and then people found out he was just a super enhanced human, and then they hated him.
He's just a mistake. So House of M was a weird story for one because it was about everyone but her, and then they treated her like crap, and it's just like, why? Like, why does everyone want that story for her? It's horrible.
Yeah.
But you know, it's you could do like it plays up on that old line from Vision where he says like, you know, they'll fear you. It's like they'll always fear you, and you can make it so she kind of snaps to make everyone like her to take away that fear. You can play it off that way.
That'd be pretty awesome.
But even then, it's like, are they mutants? Or you could just say she activated the X gene in people and play it off like that. But I think there's going to be some connection.
It could be like that because even like she was looking through the multiverse, saw one instance of mutants and made the X gene activate into her universe as people.
Yeah, because we know it's going to be in there because of Eternals.
Right.
So,
yeah.
But then you're activating that thing before it's been set up. But I suppose you can always retcon the reveal in afterwards. But I don't know. They'll do something with that. I'm sure of it. They're not just going to leave that out.
No, because they've literally gone back to the tiniest little leftover like threads and plot elements to explain
it's like
them.
if we're referencing cow people in Underground Mountain, then Christ, they're gonna do whatever they want.
Especially what happened to those cow people.
That means Counter Earth exists. We can get cow people of Avengers.
Yes, do it like the old Spider-Man Unlimited cartoon where there's giraffes riding around on floating cars. I want that.
Have like Cap as a lion.
Yes.
And that sort of stuff.
Yes.
It's like, so you want Venom in a in a truck honking at Spider-Man while going to Counter Earth.
I mean, why not? Just do it. Just do it.
If we left this all up to Sony, we would have had this 15 years ago. So.
Yeah. So all you've got to do to have that happen is just have Tom Hardy driving a van, and then the symbiote takes over. Like, it's not a difficult thing to slip in there. And he
does look sweaty most of the time. He's on the set of Venom and Venom 2, so it's like, yeah, that's easy. He just looks real agitated.
No, he's already eaten a chocolate lobster. Like, what's honking a horn? No. You can't get much lower, to be honest.
At least we'll get, like, if it does happen, we'll get a continuation of Counter Earth, and Pokemon won't be its downfall this time.
That's true. Well, there we go with the multiverse. Everybody, let us know how you think they'll do it and what they